Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're coming to you live this morning from a lovely villa out at Backlet Point, just on the outskirts of Scarborough, Tobago. It's a beautiful morning. I am your host this morning, Rhea Richardson-Jones. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning, those of you in the Caribbean, those of you viewing us on the live this morning. Good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Yes, like I said, we're outside this morning, outside of the studio. Beautiful locations. We're having some issues this morning with some sugar flies, but you can't have the good and not the bad, all right? So just that. But it's a beautiful location. We can hear the waves crashing on the shore from, just behind me. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful to be on the outside. So like I said, it's Friday morning, Friday the 24th of June, 2022. And some really interesting things happening this morning. As you know, yesterday, Chief Secretary and Secretary for Finance, Trade and the Economy, Fali Chavez Augustin, would have presented his first budget statement for this PDP-led administration. So we're looking at $3.97 billion presentation. Some interesting things. Some persons, in fact, persons have had a lot to say about it, definitely had a lot to say about it. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on in them. So we're talking 3 hours and 45 minutes later. The comments are going to be coming in. We will be chatting with stakeholders on the program today, and it's going to be quite an interesting morning with us here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I just want to recognize Julian Skeet, wherever you are. Trust that all is well with you, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing you back with us, or having you back with us on Monday morning. All right, so things are coming up. We've got news in 90 seconds coming up in just a little bit with Jani. We're going to be hearing from, like I said, other stakeholders as it relates to Tobago's economy, Tobago's development. We're going to be talking about with some of these stakeholders and talking about Tobago's business, Tobago's budget, later on in the program. So at this point, we're going to head over to Jani with our news in 90 seconds. So Jani, over to you.
Thank you, Rhea. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 24th of June, 2022. First up in this report, $3.97 billion budget presented. A $3.97 billion budget was presented yesterday by Chief Secretary and Secretary for Finance, Trade and the Economy, Fali Augustin. Presented under the theme, Towards a Smarter, Greener, More Autonomous Tobago. The figure amounts to 6.9% of the national budget, estimated at $57 billion. Among the plans announced, a $60 million facility to aid tourism-based organizations and the construction of 2 highly specialized mega farms, the development of a Tobago Development Bank, and a cycling track for Plymouth. Debate on the budget takes place on June 28th and 29th. 6.9% unrealistic. The Minority Council says hoping for 6.9% of the national budget is unrealistic. Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit says even though the law states that the Tobago House of Assembly must get between 4.3% and 6.9% of the national budget, it never receives more than the bare minimum. Meanwhile, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris says the budget lacked details indicating where the Tobago House of Assembly will find funding for the many plans they announced. However, the minority is pleased that the PDP-led Tobago House of Assembly is continuing some of the plans and initiatives started under the previous PNM-led administration. Morris will present an alternate to the budget on the 28th of June. Lastly, in this report, SEA results online. Results for the secondary entrance assessment examinations will be released on July 1st. Only this year, results will be made available online. From midnight of June the 30th via the Ministry of Education's website. This is the first time the SCA results will be released online. According to the Minister of Education, Naya Gatsby-Gully, it is part of the digitization effort of the ministry. She added that it will form a part of the holistic plan to build out online resilience in the event of another pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic forced physical classes to be suspended for 2 years, while classes took place virtually. This is your news in 90 seconds. Thank you, and over to you, Ria.
Thank you so much there, Johnny. All right, and thank you so much there, Johnny, for the news in 90 seconds. So just to let you know, viewers, what's coming up on the program this morning. So we will be chatting with Mr. David Wong, former chairman of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, about the THA budget 2022-2023 business perspective. As well, we're going to be hearing from Alex Job, former regional youth parliamentarian, and Alex is going to give us the youth perspective on the budget estimates for said 2022-2023 budget presentation. And then closing us off this morning, we will be chatting with David Rajpal Singh, who is an author but also the owner of this beautiful villa that we are at this morning, and it's the Bacalet Bliss Villa. Bacalet Bliss Villa. Viewers, mango trees, a little green banana, buck I think it is, or I know it has buck. All right, a different type of banana. You're talking lots of fruit trees and lots of flowers and the beautiful pool in my background, and you can definitely hear the ocean just at the back of us. So David is going to be chatting with us on his new book. So he's a villa owner and author, and he's going to tell us more about his new book, The Chronicles of Kyrie, and the book launch. So we've heard of the Chronicles of Narnia, but in this case it's the Chronicles of Kyrie. So we're going to hear more about it a little bit later on in the program. So that's just about it here for us, and we want to encourage you this morning to join us on the live, join us on the on your television sets. You can catch us on M&E TV, Gael. We are on social media, Facebook and YouTube, and we are also on Smash Radio, and we are also on Street 919, so you can catch us there. Right, so this morning, viewers, we encourage you this morning, share the live, share the live.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Pre-qualification notice deadline 30th June 2022. The Tobago Regional Health Authority (TRHA) is updating its current list of pre-qualified contractors, suppliers, consultancy firms and sole traders to ensure compliance with the mandate of the procurement regulations of Trinidad and Tobago. All interested contractors and suppliers desirous of entering into business arrangements with the TRHA are invited to engage in the pre-qualification of suppliers registration process. For more information, visit the following link: trha.page.link/tenders. Looking for plants for your garden or even a thoughtful gift for a friend? We at Eden Nurseries are waiting to welcome you. With our affordable prices and variety of indoor and outdoor plants, flowers, palms, soil blends, pots, landscaping services, maintenance, irrigation services, and water features. Visit our garden shop and nursery Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at the back of Orange Hill Gas Station, Shore Park, Tobago, or call us 639-0776 and let us help you bring your garden to life.
Are you an artist, reader, or passionate about culture? Then join us on Saturday, 2nd July from 3 p.m. for the official Tobago book launch of The Chronicles of Kyrie, held at One Love Arts, Atelier and Emporium, located at Oldfield Trace, Canby, Tobago. An evening of culture, folklore, dance and music, celebrating our unique culture. Admission is free. For updates and further information, follow us on Instagram, The Chronicles of Kyrie, or call us at 460-5439. See you there.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are outside, as we mentioned earlier in the program. We are out at the Backlet Bliss Villa, and it's a beautiful Friday morning, and we're really happy that you're able to join us. Just before we get into our next interview, we just want to share with you some of what's happening on the live. Denise Hosford is on the live with us. Good morning and welcome to Denise. Auntie Dora Lyons, good morning. I see a message here from Leonette Gordon, and she says, sending happy birthday to the father, Elliot Gordon, sending happy birthday to Father Elliot Gordon, coming from his children, Leonette, Therese, Roll, Joy, and his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Selma Lashley, good morning. Nadine Nichols, good morning to you as well. So for those of you viewing us on the live, keep sharing it, keep sharing it, keep sharing it. So viewers, we're going to switch gears now as we head over to an interview this morning with Mr. David Wong. And David is the former chairman of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. And this morning it's all about the THA budget estimates 2022-2023 business perspective. As we mentioned earlier, representing this morning the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. So let's hear what he has to say. David, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning to all the viewers. Firstly, let me correct. I am the former chairman of the division, the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
All right, my apologies. Yes. So we got it correct now. We got it correct. All right, David, let's talk about a $3.97 billion that was presented by the Chief Secretary and Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy in the Tobago House of Assembly. 3 hours and 45 minutes, roughly, later. Give us an idea of your thoughts.
Well, first of all, I mean, Chief Secretary, Secretary of Finance, he presented on a lot of things. He took a macro view of Tobago of what needed to be done, and his focal points he identified, and he went into it. So
was he on point?
I think so. We have not had a full opportunity to review everything, having ended that late yesterday, and we haven't had a chance to sit down to review everything. But in my overview, I find it very difficult to find anything that he has not touched on that needs addressing in Tobago. So it's, I mean, it's optimistic. It brings some comfort and hope that something will happen, but we're always cautious that, and he has highlighted it, it still awaits a determination in September as to how much he's actually going to have to meet with it. So we don't tend to look too harsh at the numbers or hard at the numbers just yet. It's when it comes out in September and we know what's going to be happening that we can take a look at the expenses.
All right, what would you say were the highlights for you? We have the removing of the land license, we have foreign investment, policy plans. He made mention of collaborating with businesses, the banks collaborating with businesses. Give us an idea.
Okay, first of all, directly for our business population in Tobago, yes. There's a 60 million that he mentioned that will be coming out. I think that's big. Hopefully it's not too onerous and not too difficult to get a hold of us, because a lot of the business are impaired. The Land License Act, reviewing that and looking at the investment regimes, that is, I think, needs to be done. There's opportunities, there's changes in the world that needs to be looked at. Trinidad and Tobago should refresh that. The land license regime, that definitely needs to be removed, and he has my full support, and he has the Chamber's full support in addressing that. It's been difficult. It's caused a lot of discomfort to foreign investment, and I myself would not invest in a location or a region that I can't expedite and move and even take ownership of something. So it is difficult. The airport thing, yes, I'd love to see it happen, because it allows you to get more stuff done, and in Trinidad, if you have to work, and it allows people to travel at a better time to go home, and it allows for more flights.
But that has been a plaguing issue for a number of years.
It was not up until pre-pandemic. I think the pandemic brought on some issues, and so now we're trying to unwind the issues, and central government, everybody is taking their time unwinding. Obviously, it's not just flights and airport operation. There are other things that we've seen taking their time to unwind. But yes, I agree with him that needs to be open, and but I don't know how I don't know if it's part of next year's budget, or if he wants to expedite that right away, which I hope he's doing, especially for the August holiday break.
Relief, yes.
But I think, if that is what it takes to expedite increase in commerce for Tobago and travelers to Tobago, because not only are we looking at the domestic tourism area, remember you have US-based flights going into Port of Spain, Piaco, which if we have more flights to Tobago, it probably will give them more access to Tobago.
All right, and I'm happy that you mentioned that. The Tobago Development Bank, let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're going to have to hear more about that. How does he intend to use it? How is it going to work? I mean, we're all going to be restricted by banking restrictions. Those are given out by the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't think he's going to be able to open a bank that just deals with things. What he may be able to do is have a bank that starts to know its people. Right now, we're all just a number or a file or whatever, a bunch of red flags, green flags to the banks that are operating here right now. That's the way banking has gone. That's not just Trinidad and Tobago, that's global. Right. So it's made things difficult, where in the old days, you knew your bank managers, you knew your people, you could have a chat, they could come and sit and talk with you, and they can make informed decisions on what you are. Right now, if you send up a red flag and not enough green flags, sorry for you.
David, I know that you're in a position this morning to give our viewers an idea of what Tobago's, the business economy is like in Tobago at this present moment. Would you have any information? And this is post-pandemic. I mean, a lot of businesses, as we know, would have taken a hit during the last 2 years. Post-COVID-19, post-pandemic, what would you say is the current state of the business economy in Tobago?
We're not in a good position. We're not generating revenue or turnover. Our cash flows are greatly impaired. I don't want to say too much, because then again, the banks, I mean, I may red flag some things for people that, they don't want said. But at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of problems that developed during the pandemic. Our issues, just like our medical issues as I think, came to bear, our health issues, the mental health situations that we're seeing coming out of the pandemic. So did our finances and our economics show its true colors, and we're not in a good place. Our situation of coming back is not in any better position. We're seeing inflation kicking in, and it's going to be difficult. Flour prices this week, other things next week. All year long, I've been addressing prices, whether it be imports, or whether it be local manufacture, whether it be shipping issues, maybe supply chain issues. There's always a problem that's causing price increases.
Right. Now, I figure you have some other things that you want to share this morning with our viewers.
Not particularly. I mean, the budget is optimistic as a Tobagonian. I am pleased to see it come through. I don't think we've had any bad or not good presentations from finance secretaries over the years. They're always gung-ho and game to go after big things, and Tobago should be. I am happy that the Chief Secretary's position of greatest little island on the planet, I like that idea. I think that's good. I'm proud of my island. My children are proud of their island. My family is proud of the island. We've grown up here. We live here. Most of us are born here. I can't say all. There are a couple of us that aren't born here, but most of us are born on the island, and we are proud of the island. We're happy. I myself have not left the island for more than 3 days in the past 2 years. And not just because of the pandemic, that's by choice. I'm happy here. I'm comfortable here. I think we can be the greatest little planet on the little island on the planet, and I think working towards it is big. Getting all of our young people, all our people, up to date technologically, innovatively, responsibly, and just plain old ready to go forward. I think that's a big thing, and he can achieve it. He's outlined areas. He's focused on education. He's focused on social support, and he's more or less asked, look, this is going to succeed if we put our backs into it. Some of the things that in the business sector, like the tourism sectoral committees mentioned, I think that is big, but that's going to take work. Not money, it's going to take work. It's going to mean people come to the table, people discuss, make decisions, and go out and expedite and execute. If those things happen, they don't require money, they're just part of regular operations, but those improved. There was a similar thing, committee previously that worked very, very well for our tourism sector. It helped build it. So there's opportunities in there. The land license and the Investment Act, those things adjusted, which takes a lot of people meeting, but as those things get done, you'll see investments coming into Tobago. You'll see people wanting to go forward with Tobago. So I'm cautiously optimistic that once these things can happen, we can go forward, and then all the other things that he wants to have grow can be realized.
All right. Now, we're talking here a greener, safer, a greener, safer, more autonomous Tobago, and that's what the chief, the Secretary for Finance would have centered the budget around. You know, David, even as you're talking here, opportunities for us, you spoke a little while ago about, you know, putting our backs into it, getting every person involved in building a better Tobago. I want you to speak a little bit more on that.
We have to take ownership. We're proud of our cars. We're proud of our homes. Right? We're proud of what we wear. We look good. And we are proud of our space. We're proud of the road we walk down, the city, the village, the town that we sit down in, next to the post office, around the mango tree, on the seawall. Are we proud of these places? Are we happy with them? How much are we willing to give it to it and get involved with our island and what we want to do? We have made a change. We've gone away. We've elected a completely new party. So maybe Tobago is ready to lead the way in changing itself. I'm not going to say we need to compete with anybody else on this planet or in the country. We need to look at ourselves and know that, hey, what if we start doing things and putting things in place, we can achieve, and that is what we have to do and look at.
Yeah. All right, I really want to thank you this morning with us. Before we go, Mr. Wong, is there any other information that you'd like to share with our viewers this morning?
I think he did mention the plastic bag, eliminating plastic bags.
And that is still towards a greener. Right,
and I think that is something that, you know, the private sector has been in discussions with the THA with this project, and I look forward to it, and I really want to support it, and I hope the people of Tobago try to understand it and support it as we eliminate all plastic bag usage from the retail sectors. I'm not sure how much details I'm allowed to give out, but there is something that the private sector and the THA are working to put in place where you will have a mode of carrying your groceries, a bag, but you'll need
a reusable, recyclable bag.
That you
what happens to the businesses out there that, you know, this is the mainstay of their business, this is what they do?
The plastic bags aren't anybody's only product. All the manufacturers in that area and so forth do that, and they're all in reality that bags are coming to an end. They take up a lot of space, they take up a lot of energy to create and to destroy and dispose of. So it's a way forward, and I think it's a good pathway forward for Tobago.
All right.
And we'll be leading the way because Trinidad didn't do too well with their efforts.
So Tobago is going to be taking charge.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Mr. David Wong. So viewers, we've got lots more coming up on the program, the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Hello, Crime Stoppers?
This is Crime Stoppers. Please share only your crime information.
I want to report a crime, but I need to make sure it will not be traced back to me.
Caller, I assure you, there's no record of this call other than the information you give us and the tip number I assign you for you to call back and check on your reward. This system has worked in 26 countries for more than 40 years.
Help stop crime. Call Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS today. Calls are safe and 100% anonymous.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy your treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. We are on the outside, as we mentioned earlier. We are at the Backlet Bliss Villa. Viewers, I tell you, beautiful location. Beautiful location. This is where you can spend your staycation. I'm telling you, beautiful location out here at Backlet. And this morning we are chatting with Alex Job Thomas. He ensured that I put in that Thomas, Alex Job Thomas, and he is the former regional youth parliamentarian. And this morning again we continue the discussion on the youth voice, the youth perspective, on the THA budget estimates for 2022-2023 youth perspective. Alex, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you on the program.
Nice to be here.
Nice. Now, Alex, you would have listened to the budget presentation by the Chief Secretary and Secretary for Finance, Trade and Economy yesterday, his first budget presentation. Let's start there. We would have grown accustomed to having Mr. Joel Jack, former Chief Secretary on the People's National Movement, presenting for a number of years. And then we had a new voice, a new perspective. Give us your thoughts.
So, congratulations on the Chief Secretary for delivering his first budget contribution. And I think you pointed out a good, really important point there, that we got accustomed to previous persons. And I might add that we got accustomed to just this monotone voice in particular. And I think yesterday everybody paid attention. The budget is usually something that some young people consider it boring because it's lengthy.
And this was lengthy. This was 3 hours 45.
And everybody paid attention from beginning to end. He captured everyone's attention, and everybody was just listening for something new.
Now, I paid attention to social media, and I heard a lot of persons commented. I thought this was going to be boring because of how long it was, and persons indicated that they were riveted. They were glued to televisions and glued to social media because it was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable experience for some, and that was very interesting.
Exactly. So from beginning to end, we had captivating points. Everybody was listening for their different and specific aspects of the budget that they wanted to hear, and we got it.
All right, let's talk about some of the highlights for you as a young person and for young persons in Tobago.
All right, so highlights for me. Firstly, I think I like the educational aspects and developing the young people and investing in the young people and ensuring, I think he used the term that Tobagonians should be able to hold their own as well, here and abroad. And I think that's really important. And I other than the developmental, academic and technical, I think even repairing the schools and investing in the schools, and one in particular, I think I was glad to hear was the Scarborough Secondary Initiative, starting the process and allocating funds to the consultation process.
Now, as you know, and I just want to piggyback on what it is you said there. As you know, the issue of Scarborough Secondary School, that relocation, I'm sorry, I'm having some battles here with some sugar flies, but the relocation project, over the last few years, monies have been allocated for such, but still we've not seen anything. There's been no groundbreaking, there's been no foundation, no nothing. So I know that Tobago and Tobagonians, whether here or abroad, are certainly looking forward to seeing that happen. Exactly. We don't want to see Scarborough. I don't know, what school did you go to?
Scarborough.
That's right. Julian, okay, Julian, you'll piggyback here for this morning. But certainly we want to see a Scarborough Sec that continues on, whether at the current location or at a new location. But we don't want to see the building fall into the sea, because we've been hearing about this for years.
Exactly.
So certainly we want to see some type of action, some type of headway in a good direction to see a Scarborough Sec that can exist for a little bit beyond now. Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's really important, because after attending Scarborough for 7 years and experiencing the good and the bad, I think it's worth it, because since I entered, we've been hearing talk about relocation, and I think I was hoping that the school would have been ready before I left. I left, and nothing have.
And how long have you left?
I left since sixth form, since 2019.
Wow, and
so
still nothing.
So I think I really hope that that initiative really come up, and that from the performance so far of this current administration, I think they will pull it off.
Yeah. All right. Now, you made mention of development for young people. What are some of the key areas that you think?
All right. So, other than the academic and ensuring, I don't think we, at this point in time, more school repairs in terms of that, but I think what needs to be developed is the parallel education system in terms of the technical stuff. I think we pay attention to the more academic and
skills.
Yeah,
and forget the skills.
And forget the skills, because we don't think it's important. If you don't have 60 passes, you're not relevant. And I think persons with skills are relevant, because you need a carpenter to build a house, you need a mason, you need somebody to build a cupboard. And these persons, while you might think they are uneducated, they are good at their skill. And houses need to be built, construction needs to happen. So I think we need to pay attention to that, and other than the skills and the more common skills in terms of construction and so forth, I think persons need to get into like boat making, building pirogues and
boat repairs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think because we are fishing island, most of our communities are fishing communities. I think that is something that is dying. I think young people need to take up the initiative and start learning these skills, and also other than the boat repairs, learning how to make steel pan and tune steel pan as well, because that is something that's part of our culture, and I think we need to maintain that.
I think it should be happening at the schools,
exactly,
at the school level. All right, and agriculture for young people. A lot of young people seem to be moving away from agriculture,
right.
And I know that even the previous administration would have started talks about having young persons engage more in agriculture, or encouraging or reviving the agricultural sector for younger persons to get involved. And farming should not just be an old man's thing, exactly, or a man's thing per se, but it should be young people, women, and everybody. I want to ask you here about the pre-budgetary consultations that the Chief Secretary had leading up to yesterday's budget presentation. What were your thoughts on that, and what difference do you think that it would have made with the budget presentation that we did see yesterday?
So I think that was something new. In particular, I think that was something new, and it was quite captivating that the Chief Secretary wanted to hear from the people, and I think that is really important. That is something we should continue going forward. I think the paradigm have shifted, and we need to ensure that we have accountability and hear from the people, because the politicians and those sitting at the highest level in the public service and so on, they don't know everything. Sometimes the man on the street, sometimes you have to listen to the man on the street, because at the end of the day, everything trickles down to the man on the street. I think it's important to listen to those people, whether they are farmers, because all these persons are important stakeholders in this island.
Okay. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you speak, and you are certainly one of those young persons that is in line for big things, and I'm really happy that you're able to be on the program with us. What other areas do you think, in fact, as we spoke with David Wong just a little while ago about a sugarfly and I are having a conversation. Yeah, we spoke with David Wong a little while ago about some of the areas that the chief would have covered, the Secretary for Finance would have covered, and he said he didn't think that there was an area that was left out of yesterday's presentation. Give us an idea of what do you feel could have been added. Could have been added to that, and this is from a youth perspective, you're a youth voice.
All right, so I agree with the sentiments of Mr. Wong that it felt like not left out. I think, in my opinion, impacting going in depth on more skills, especially that skills part of the education and these different indigenous skills that we have to the island, going in depth on it. But I think let me try not to be unfair to the Chief Secretary as well, because remember the debate is also coming up, and I think other secretaries will give, with their specific portfolios, will have the opportunity to do that. Right. But I think with the time allotted as well, I think he did a great job, because for that lengthy debate, I actually captured everyone's attention, even though it might have some areas where secretaries go in depth. I think certainly I will allow them. I think I prefer to allow them and give them the benefit of the doubt.
And hear what they have to say before making any pronouncements or any comments on that.
Certainly.
Yeah? All right. Well, I really want to thank you so much for being with us this morning, Alex. And to our young people out there, what would you say to our young people out there in terms of holding the fort, staying the course, not giving up?
So I honestly, young people, I think we need to support each other, because we are in this. We are young. We are all young, and we experience similar things. I think we need to be understanding and push each other to develop, and ensure that we try to give each other opportunities. Because we are one small island. The fight down thing doesn't work. We are all to be good at the end of the day. Whether you are this side is political affiliation or the other, I think we all have to be good, and I think we have to ensure that we support our island and ensure the growth of the island, and also for the politicians and the administrators and those who are at the level of the decision making, give the young people some opportunities. Because at one point you businesses and organizations are also young people with experience. But how can we get the experience? We need to get the experience, and we need to be given the opportunity to gain that experience and eventually take on those jobs as well, right? Because at the end of the day, the older ones and the senior persons, you will eventually leave your job by will or by force. either you retire one day, you decide to, or you die.
Whether you retire or expire.
Well, exactly. So I think we have to make the investment now, and I think young people need to stay the course. Whether you don't just because you might not get subjects, learn a skill. Forget what people say. They might laugh you now, but the same person might be coming for your skills eventually. So stay the course.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, for some serious good sound advice there, Alex Job Thomas, for chatting with us this morning, for us being able to hear from you with regards to youth perspective. It's always a pleasure. All right, and we certainly look forward to chatting with you in the future. All right.
Definitely.
So viewers, lots more coming up on the program. Yes, lots more coming up on the program. And again, we are here at the Bacalet Bliss Villa on the outskirts of Scarborough, Tobago. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Are you an artist, reader, or passionate about culture? Then join us on Saturday, 2nd July from 3 p.m. for the official Tobago book launch of The Chronicles of Kyrie. Held at One Love Arts, Atelier and Emporium, located at Wallfield Straits, Canby, Tobago. An evening of culture, folklore, dance and music, celebrating our unique culture. Admission is free. For updates and further information, follow us on Instagram, The Chronicles of Kyrie, or call us at 460-5439. See you there.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Just a reminder here that we are out at Bacalet Bliss Villa, all right, on the outskirts of Scarborough. Now, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, but some sugar flies and I are having a time of our lives. All right, now we've got the photo up this morning because we've got our Tobago back in the day segment, and that photo should be up on screen even as we speak. And where was this? In fact, where is this? I know some of you, if you can recall where this picture was, or where this picture is, or the location, then you're definitely tipping your age, because that is certainly way before my time. Okay, so you've got some time to think about it, and maybe before the show ends, you can check us on the live, give us an idea of where you think it is. My first guess was the fort, okay? The fort in Scarborough. Yes, King George King, but that's my guess. Let's hear where you think it is. All right? So as we switch gears this morning, viewers, we are chatting with the owner of this lovely villa, beautiful villa, and this is David Rajpal Singh. He is the owner and author. And this morning we're here to talk about his book, because there's a book launch that's coming up, and it is The Chronicles of Kyrie. All right, so good morning and welcome.
Good morning, great to be here.
It's good to have you on the program with us. Now, as I mentioned before, I know The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Give us the story behind The Chronicles of Kyrie.
Okay, well, being a tour guide in Tobago and driving around some of the beautiful sites and hidden gems, of course everybody knows about the great Silcotton Tree in Runnymede area, right? So, you know, I would have tourists in the car. I would tell them the story of Gangang Sarah.
All right, and that's Golden Lane side.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And her grave is close by as well.
Right.
And, you know, in doing so, this story popped in my head of presenting the folklore creatures to a local and foreign market, but in a completely different way. And it just I brooded about it for a while, and then COVID hit.
You had nothing else to do.
There was no
you
tours,
had the
there
time.
was no tourists, there was closed borders. So started to write. And then it started to morph into something bigger and grander. Originally it was going to be a small 7-volume series of illustration.
Right.
It just got too big. I had to go the novel way. Right? There will still be illustrations and stuff later on, but I decided to do it in a 3-volume setting. This is volume 1. Just came out, The Gateway Moon. Currently working on volume 2, and then there will be the final one. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying putting Trinidad and Tobago as the main stars in this. It's a really big reimagination fantasy-wise. So there's everything in there. There's even historical fiction. There's Christopher Columbus. There's space travel. Everything's in there, right? But I'm hoping it all connects nicely, and everyone here, including people from Tobago, people from Trinidad, because the Pitch Lake is a major part of the series, as well as the Main Ridge Forest, could enjoy it. You know, I'm just having a good time and creating new characters, the protagonist, the antagonist. It's very wide. So it's a lot of fun.
I just opened and I saw something about the Amerindian chief.
Yeah, there's actually some friends in there who are characters. Right, I wanted to honor them. So
some of your friends.
Yeah, one of them is my friend Eric Lewis, who is the chief of the First Nations people in Moruga. The main chief just died recently, so Eric is going to take over the reins of that. He's in there. Another good friend in Tobago, he's from the island of Rapa Nui, which is known as Easter Island to us. He's been living here a long time. He's a strong Tobagonian, and he's my best friend, and he's in there. Because there's Rapa Nui in there, there's China, there's India, there's France, there's Canada, everything's going to be in there. But it's all going to be in a base of Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, I'm really interested. No, you said this is the first of 3 volumes.
Yes.
Okay. Is this your first book ever? Are there
So I'm having a lot of fun with it.
All right.
It's just now that the country and the world has opened back after COVID, it's getting the time to really put the effort in. Because there's no more lockdown.
No, definitely. Now, I'm looking at the back of the book here. It said it all began with an accident at the airport in Trinidad.
Yeah.
What happened in
So the heroes or the heroines of this story are two 13-year-old Canadian twins.
Right.
They're actually based on my actual nieces. And it just starts where they come to Tobago and Trinidad for holidays with my sister, who's their mom, right, and their dad. And while getting their luggage and stuff, something happens and one of them falls down an escalator, and she fractures her arm, and it starts the story because they have to decide, do we go back to Canada, do we continue, see the doctor and continue on to the vacation in Tobago, which they end up doing. That was like one of the main reasons why the entire story happened the way it did, right? So it's a full circle, but you have to wait till book 3 to know.
Oh my goodness, it's one of those. It's one of those. Now, I'm reading here from Asha Mahabir, and Asha is the librarian, 3 Educational Library Services Unit, National Library and Information Services Authority. And this is what Asha had to say. Finally, someone has created superheroes using our local folklore characters. The author has created an adventure so unique and original, it should be known not just locally but internationally as well. This is a complex tale weaved in extraordinary prose, and I have never read anything like it. I eagerly await the next volume to see where he takes this story. So, you know, this is going to take you a little while. Yeah. So maybe is it that you're working on the second?
Yeah, just started this month.
Okay, so we have a little wait.
Yeah, that'll be out next year, right? Because it's actually going to be longer than that. So.
And then we've got to wait till volume 3, and I feel as though it may not end there.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So there's plans to do like a side universe offshoot with another writer from Canada, right? So we'll see how it goes.
Now, did you see this coming? Is this something that you always wanted to do?
I always knew that I would write something. I wasn't sure where. I've done quite a bit of self-help, meditation stuff, martial arts stuff, short stories. Never went this avenue of something this big.
So this is new ground, new territory for you.
Yeah, but because the story is in my head, it's so easy to do. It's just the time to put it down.
Okay, let's just take a quick break here. We've got Tobago Notes, so we go over to Tobago Notes, and then we come back chatting about the Chronicles of Kyrie.
A welcome deserving of a king. This is how Isaiah Thomas was greeted following his participation at the U.S. Special Olympics USA Games earlier this month. He returned to Tobago with silver and bronze medals earned in his singles bocce competition. Thomas is proud of representing his country and expressed special thank yous to a few people.
I'm proud to bring back a silver and a bronze for this great country. Everyone, I would like to thank my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather for supporting me my whole life, and my sister, my teachers, my classmates. I would thank the principal for teaching me for so many years, and I'm just proud for everything all you have done for me.
Bocce isn't just for special athletes, but is one of the special Olympic disciplines that provide opportunities for people with special needs. They get to enjoy social contact and gain self-confidence, while it also aids their physical development. Isaiah's quote says the athlete's success is a testimony to his hard work and determination. He's shown grit and determination since learning to play bocce.
For the past few months here, we have been training both in Tobago and Trinidad to prepare for this national game here, America's game here. And I know he was going to be successful because he's a very talented bocce player, always devoted to coming to practice, never complain, and I'm proud of him. We are all proud of you. And to all the people who give us support during this time, I want to say thank you.
Isaiah's achievement is also a source of pleasure for Assistant Secretary in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Orlando Kerr. The Assistant Secretary says despite its small size, Tobago is filled with enormous talent. He says it's important to recognize Isaiah for his accomplishments.
Today is indeed a very special day, and as Tobagonians, we have to celebrate this in the context that when you look at the island of Tobago, which is about 60,000 persons, and when you look at our athletes going out there and competing internationally with some of those huge countries that we are just simply a dot, it tells you about the kind of talent that we have here and the kind of commitment that we have and the kind of coaches that we have. So I want you all to put your hand together again for Isaiah.
The ceremony was held at the International Departure Lounge at the ANI International Airport.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Viewers, welcome back. We continue our discussion this morning with Mr. David Rajpal Singh, and it's all about the Chronicles of Kyrie. All right, so the book launch is coming up. David, tell us more about the book launch.
So we'll be having the Tobago book launch. We already had the Trinidad one in April at the Pitch Lake, which was amazing. The Tobago one will be just behind the mall, a place called One Love Arts Emporium. It's a tourist sort of souvenir gift shop facility, which is amazing. Good friends Colin and Laurelyn own it. And we'll be having like vendors, tents, music, DJ, just a day of culture.
A little food,
a little drink, and a small reading, nothing crazy, because we just want people to have a good time.
All right.
And this is right behind the mall. We'll be posting locations and stuff on the Facebook page and my Instagrams, which is the Chronicles of Kyrie and Island Girl Tours Tobago.
All right. Now, are you in a position to give us an idea of the cost of the book at this time?
The cost from me is $200 flat. In the bookstores in Trinidad, I think they're selling anywhere between $275 and $298.
Yeah. All right. All right, well, cool. And very quickly here, before we wrap, we've got to tell our viewers this morning about this beautiful location, the Bacalet Bliss Villa.
So Bacalet Bliss, and this is Bacalet Point, right? The beach is right there. We can hold between 6 and 10 people. All the rooms are AC and bathroom. We have experiences here, bonfires at night, lights in the trees. Always a good time for foreigners and locals. Right, so we try to be interactive and give people a hosting experience as well if they want it. Right, and Bacalet Bliss, there is an Instagram, and you can also contact us at 460-5439.
All right, and there's the tours attached to that.
Yes, Island Girl Tours. My tour company in Tobago. Been doing it for a while and love it. It all ties in, the book, the villa, the folklore, the tours, everything, the experiences we do. It's all about Tobago and Trinidad.
All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. So we're certainly looking forward to that. And remind us of the date and time for the book launch.
The book launch will be at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, July the 2nd, One Love Arts Atelier and Emporium in Lowlands, behind the mall.
All right, thank you so much.
Right.
So we're going to head back, just before we wrap up, we're going to head back to that Tobago back in the day. Location. Location. And we are understanding, yes, viewers, we are understanding that location is located Government House Road, and that is the I'm waiting for the guys to say. Okay, so I'm understanding here, viewers, they're going to let it stew for the weekend, and then we're going to give you the correct answer on Monday. So don't lose any hope. So as we say goodbye to you, we remind you to stay safe wherever you are. Julian Skeet, we're certainly looking forward to having you back with us on Monday morning. So love going out to you. Stay safe wherever you are. Remember to wear your mask, sanitize, and socially distance. We head over now to GMT with Candace. So stay tuned. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
You know, I once heard Bajan Prime Minister Mia Mottley describe the Caribbean region as resilient because we are people accustomed to having to rebuild after destructive hurricanes. And while Trinidad seems to have escaped, knowing the ravages of these deadly tempests, Tobago has not always been so lucky. Now, you might have heard about Hurricane Flora, or you might have been alive to experience it. And again, nobody alive today will live through the hurricane that destroyed Tobago on June 23, 1831. According to A History of the Moravian Church, Eastern West Indies Province by G. Oliver Maynard, in June 1831, a hurricane such as had not been experienced for over 40 years thoroughly devastated the island. The book reported that brother and sister Eberman, who had come to Tobago a year prior to continue the work of the Moravian Church Mission, had to run from their house, which shook and creaked in all its joints, to take refuge in a neighboring building. The book also talked about the excessive rain that followed the hurricane and a damp heat that caused such sickness, especially among the Europeans. Almost a quarter of Tobago's white inhabitants succumbed to fever. Brother Eberman himself had an attack of fever that left him so disabled he soon had to retire. Now I'll have to get some background on this hurricane before I tell all you more. First off, the hurricane not get no name because this are before them start for name hurricane. That started in 1953. Nextly, you had to know that the hurricane visited Tobago before slavery was abolished. And here now, this 1831 hurricane, it disrespectful. Here why. There are two anomalies raised by John Angus Martin in an online article for the website A to Z of Grenada Heritage. Where he talk about the little hurricane poem we just learn from since we mama move now. There's you know the one. How we go again? June, too soon. July, stand by. August, a must. September, remember. October, all over. Next thing, this hurricane not get no respect for the hurricane belt because it punched way below that line there. There's a report that was prepared for one Samuel Hyde in Bridgetown, Barbados in 1831. It was titled Account of the Fatal Hurricane by which Barbados suffered in August 1831. It really goes into detail about the various accounts of not only that August hurricane, but particularly the 1831 tempest that preceded it. It tells how Trinidad, yes Trinidad, which had always enjoyed being a rendezvous point for men of war ships during the stormy months, had in some parts trees broken down and blown down because of the wind that blew with such a force. Also mentioned was how the shipping in the Gulf of Paria escaped very little injury. It was reported that a strong gale of wind blew from south-southeast, which created an alarm for the safety of the vessels in the bay. The report also talked about how the 1831 hurricane destroyed crops and provision grounds across Tobago, and it particularly wreaked havoc on the vessels in Scarborough Bay. Pause to read.
Our national borders. Our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Are you an artist, reader, or passionate about culture? Then join us on Saturday, 2nd July from 3 p.m. for the official Tobago book launch of The Chronicles of Kyrie, held at One Love Arts, Atelier and Emporium, located at Wallfield Straits, Canby, Tobago. An evening of culture, folklore, dance and music, celebrating our unique culture. Admission is free. For updates and further information, follow us on Instagram, The Chronicles of Kyrie, or call us at 460-5439. See you there.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
welcome to Getting On to Updates, current affairs in the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candice Jackson. Before we get started, let's get into our news in 90 seconds. A $3.97 billion budget was presented yesterday by Chief Secretary and Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Fali Augustine. Presented under the theme Towards a Smarter, Greener, More Autonomous Tobago, the figure amounts to 6.9% of a national budget estimated at $57 billion. Among the plans announced were a $60 million facility to aid tourism-based businesses, the construction of 2 highly specialized mega farms, the development of a Tobago Development Bank, and a cycling track for Plymouth. Debate on the budget takes place on June 28th and 29th. Meanwhile, the Minority Council says hoping for 6.9% of the national budget is unrealistic. Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benwas says even though the law states that the THA must get between 4.3% and 6.9% of the national budget, it never received more than the bare minimum. Meanwhile, Minority Leader Kelvin Morris says the budget lacked details indicating where the THA will find funding for the many plans they announced. However, the minority is pleased that the PDP-led THA is continuing some of their plans and initiatives started under the previous PNM-led administration. Morris will present an alternative to the budget on June 28th. On a national scale, results from the secondary entrance assessment examinations will be released on July 1st. Only this year, results will be made available from midnight on June 30th via the ministry's website. This is the first day results will be released online. According to the Minister of Education, Nayan Gaspi Dolly, it is part of a digitization effort of the ministry. She added that it will form part of a holistic plan to build out online resilience in the event of another pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic forced physical classes to be suspended for 2 years while classes took place virtually. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Of course, yesterday we had a very, very big day. Yesterday was THA's budget day, and we had a lengthy presentation where Chief Secretary Fali Augustine unveiled basically a 4-year plan for Tobago's development. Now, forming part of that plan was a lot of policies, whether it's policies towards, greener, more sustainable development, policies for tourism, policies for education. There were a number of policies announced. Now, there were no details presented on the policies, just some little highlights about what the intentions of the policies were or what direction the THA wants to head. But we expect to find the details of those things on Tuesday and Wednesday when the budget will be debated in the House. And of course, Tobago Updates will be bringing to you that coverage of the budget debate because it is important to know what are the plans. That's why THA's budget day is perhaps one of the biggest day of the year because it's how which direction is heading towards, what are their plans, where do they intend to develop Tobago, what sectors, how is everything going to come together. Now, there were so many things because the Chief Secretary spoke for 3 hours and about 45 minutes. It's, like I said, it was a very, very long presentation. But, he indicated a lot of plans that were highlighted on the campaign trail. So when the PDP were preparing for the for the elections, they presented a lot of plans in terms of, working with the community, making sure whether it's the agriculture sector, tourism, infrastructure, all those are developed with community people in mind. There was a lot of talk about foreign direct investment and how do we control that. Finally we saw from the Chamber of Commerce, they said yesterday following the budget, they had a lot of positives. Their only negative was the fact that the agriculture revenue on the island accounts for only 1% of the island's GDP. But other than that, the chamber did not seem to have any issues with the budget because they had a lot of things that they wanted in terms of, you know, changing that Land License Act that would allow foreign direct investment to come in, and not just removing the Land License Act, but making sure that there is a facility that would allow for Tobago to be zoned development-wise, so we know what areas will be focused on development, what areas on residents, what areas will be protected, and you know, we can control which areas get developed, so it wouldn't be a free-for-all land grab. Now, there's, like I said, there's many things to unpack, and we at Tobago Updates are going to continue unpacking a lot of the budget presentation and the details in the days coming ahead. But from now on, we are going to be speaking to minority leader, Mr. Kelvin Morris, who's going to be coming up after the break. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Now, joining me is Mr. Kelvin Morris, the minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly. Good morning and welcome to you, sir.
Good morning, Candace. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago, and all viewers. Welcome.
All right, great. Well, Mr. Morris, I mean, you've had a chance to sleep on it. I know you gave some comments yesterday following the budget presentation, but I want to know, after, having it settle a bit more in your mind and waking up this morning and after hearing perhaps from more people about what they think of the budget, what are your views now?
Well, Candace, my views remain as resolute as it did yesterday that the budget, while there were a number of good initiatives, lacks substance. So, whereas you got a lot of fluff, what we are not getting is the details as to how these things would be actioned. And yes, I heard the Chief Secretary saying that some of the secretaries would come and give details, but you must remember as well, these secretaries are constrained in terms of speaking time. They are only allowed 40 minutes. So whereas the Chief Secretary was able to speak for 4 hours, and he had the best opportunity to provide the details of some of those plans, we now have to rely on these secretaries to be able to articulate the details, which I think is very key. Because what you would recognize as well is that we, as Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit exposed, is the fact that as much as the budget is pegged against a 6.9% expectation, we all know in Tobago, regardless of the administration in Trinidad at the central government, we usually get something around the minimum, which is 4.03% as is the law according to the DRC resolution. So we expect that Tobago will continue to get about 2.3 billion. And while you raise expectations about all these grandiose plans, how now do you effectively implement those plans, understanding that you will get a shortfall of at least $1.6 billion. So that's why we believe the details are even more important than anything that was said yesterday.
I think that's a challenge that all the previous administrations of the THA had, because in the past we've had budget presentations amounting to an average of about $4.5 billion, and it always has been a challenge for Tobago in how how do we go forward with our development, even when we present these plans, but we're not given the near amount of money that we need to actualize these plans?
And Candice, that is why we spent so much time yesterday, really reviewing the missed opportunity of the autonomy bill, because we are not just focused on the minimum that it would have allowed for Tobago, but we understand the legislative autonomy that that bill would have provided, which would have ensured that we would have had the latitude to treat with many of the issues that are, bugbears and that the Chief Secretary identified as challenges going forward, and which would now require the intervention of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are saying, had we had that legislative authority here in Tobago, then we in Tobago could have treated with those issues right here in Tobago. So it is twofold. You have the challenges of restrict financial resources, and then you also have the legislative constraints as well to do some of the things that you are required to do without breaching the law. And so our concern at this time is really we need to focus on what is practical, what is realistic, and what can actually be implemented given the realities of our current situation.
And now, in your comments after the budget presentation yesterday, yourself and the Minority Councillor Peter Daniel Benoit, you stated that you were pleased that there was continuation of programs and initiatives that were started under the previous PNM administration. Can you give us an idea of what are those programs that you are excited to see continue?
Well, as mentioned, I could think of the strengthening of our public administration, and you would have seen the Chief Secretary referred to the institutional strengthening that will happen. That is the training of and the creation of that administrative school that would actually will have a continuous training program for our public officers, because we believe a key element of Tobago's development is our ability to implement properly those plans and programs. And if we have our various officers, the persons who have to treat with the administrative aspects of implementing the plan, properly trained, we think that is a good place to be. We are appreciative of the fact that the THA recognizes and appreciates the need for us to modernize our approaches, and therefore we would have spoken about creating an entire division of technology, whereas they are not so focused to have a division that would treat with implementing and creating a smarter island. We are pleased that they actually appreciate the philosophy that we must digitize our operations and have it in such a way that it is accessible to all persons and remotely as well. Because you would remember we also in our first motion brought to the table the whole issue of our remote workforce policy that would allow some flexibility in the way we go about treating with how people at work, how people access the services of the THA and that kind of thing.
All right. Now, one of the things that the Chief Secretary mentioned as you brought up the topic of digitization is that, they are reforming the way that they treat with grants so that it will be in the form of an e-wallet system. So instead of getting a food card, it would be a sort of online measure where there would be more accountability and more efficiency and that sort of thing. However, you also raised the point that while that is happening, people are having problems in accessing receiving grants at this point in time. I just want to expand on that a little bit and give us a little detail from what you have been hearing from the ground, from the people that are affected, while the current administration is trying to sort out these things.
So, Candice, what we have is a serious challenge, and I'm genuinely concerned because persons at this point are clueless. They don't know where, at this point, do you go to even apply for the food. There was this temporary food assistance that you can get. They don't know where to go. Then even the persons who would have found out where to go and applied, it's taken an inordinate long time. So these persons, I'm telling you, waiting up months to get something as simple as a $500 card. And I hear the idea about the e-wallet digitized system. I think is very good, but you have to also remember, not everyone, especially when you're unemployed now, you're not able to get a bank account. So then how does this person who does not have a bank account, how would they access this e-wallet type system? And also I heard the idea of putting, making it accessible to apply, go to your community center and that kind of thing. But when I, as a person who require immediate food support, go to a community center, is it that community center would have the requisite authority to approve and implement an approval that would ensure that I do not leave that office empty-handed? Because what I'm saying, when it comes to social support, it must be timely and it must be relevant to the needs of the person. So we need to find more efficient ways, and in my budget presentation you would see us detailing how we can strengthen our social support system, because I think that is very key at this time, especially the fact that we are still enduring the effects of the pandemic, and it means that families really require help in a way that they didn't really need it before the pandemic. So we need to make our systems more efficient, that we can give timely support to the persons that need it the most.
And another concern that you raised yesterday is that, there was little connection, or there was little in the way for the development of young people. So I also want you to expand on that. And why do you think that there was little in the way for young people development in Tobago?
Well, the truth be told, there will have been the programs, yes, and those type of programs that would try to empower young persons to ensure that we provide a space and a place for youth development. However, what we are seeing now is that programs of those nature are either being stymied, so there are no new, the persons are not being taken up in the amounts that they were before, and you are not seeing any replacement, or I've not heard of any replacement initiative that would really engage young people in a meaningful way and give them the latitude to contribute towards Tobago's development. So again, as I said on Tuesday, you would see us promoting initiatives that we believe that would really empower young persons, that would utilize the kind of talents that we have both in the creative sector, in the technical sector, and even our young scholars as well.
All right, now switching to a little bit on a macroeconomic scale. Now, the Chief Secretary announced that the THA will be looking at removing the current Line License Act and in place something else that would control the investment from foreign direct investors into specific areas in Tobago. So Tobago will be zoned, and based on the specific zonings, foreign direct investors will be allowed in, and then it would sort of mitigate some of the bureaucracy that is involved with the current Land License Act to allow, more investment on the island. It is something that the Chamber has been clamoring for years, a number of years, and it's something that they are pleased with. Now, I want to know from you, what are your opinions on this matter?
Okay, so I think the chief secretary is mingling issues that have its own sort of peculiar utilize the FDI
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime. If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero, champion, fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Pre-qualification.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, I just want to apologize for that. I think we lost a little connection with Mr. Morris. But before we lost you, Mr. Morris.
Yes, Candice, so I don't know at what point you're hearing me, right?
Yes,
Hi,
I'm hearing you
Candice,
now.
you
So I
hearing?
guess we can, yes, are
Yes,
you able
so
to hear us?
yes, I'm hearing you clearly, and I don't know at what point you lost me, but we were speaking about the Land License Act and also the issues to treat with FDI. And I'm saying we have to be very careful that we don't mix the two in a way that can misdiagnose the issues, because the land license issues, you have to remember and appreciate why that was implemented in the first place, and that really treated with private lands and public lands per se, because at the time what you had happening is that foreigners prices for inflation in terms of Tobago lands, and it made the land
All right, I think we lost Mr. Morris again. But viewers, unfortunately, it looks like we also ran out of time. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll be hearing more from Mr. Morris, so don't you worry. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to be expounding on the idea of foreign direct investment and the plans that were presented in the budget and more, a whole lot more, when he makes his budget presentation response or presents his alternative budget on Tuesday. So you're going to be looking out for that, and of course, you know, Tobago Updates has you covered. So just want to thank you again for joining us. I wish you guys have a wonderful, safe and productive weekend. I want to thank Bacalet Bliss Villa for hosting us this morning in this gorgeous, beautiful place. So make sure you check them out on their social media pages and so on. You know, just search them, Bacalet Bliss, and you'll find it. Wonderful ambience, wonderful place to be. And again, thank you for allowing us to be here this morning. All right, so that's about it. And remember to stay updated with Tobago Updates. We got you covered. Bye.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.